Hi, with C&B Operations, I'm Jeff Buick.
And I'm Nate Jansen.
And we're standing here in one of our many agronomic and production plots where we're taking a deeper dive into how you can leverage equipment and technology and performance upgrade kits in your operation to add more to your bottom line.
Yeah, that's right, Jeff. We want to take all the equipment that we offer to you as our customer and also ground truth and make sure really what holds water and what doesn't, and look at the different options that are out there so that we can bring some agronomics and also economics to the different equipment and the different options that are available. Along with that, we want to take our employees and really make them experts so that when we get out to the field, that our employees can help you get the most out of your equipment.
And we're not doing this only with equipment that's available today, but we're doing it with equipment that's been farmed with for the last 5 years. And we're also doing it with equipment that's limited production build from John Deere. And so there's equipment that hasn't even hit the market today that we get the opportunity to test and really learn about how it can benefit our customers' bottom line.
Yeah, and as we look towards the future, we also want to make sure that we're understanding the technology, gaining the most benefit out of it, and then also talking about really what makes sense.
So I invite you to take a walk with us through the plot here and take a look at some of this equipment and agronomics in action.
Hello, I'm Joe Bloffus, Precision Ag Consultant for C&B Operations. Today we're at the Mitchell plot talking about AutoTrac Implement Guidance. What is AutoTrac Implement Guidance? AutoTrac Implement Guidance is a passive implement guidance system. Both the tractor and implement have a receiver which increase the accuracy of the implement from pass to pass. AutoTrac Implement Guidance doesn't steer the implement. It uses the tractor to pull the implement into the right row for better input management. So in this example, down below on the left-hand side, you can see that when using AutoTrac without the implement guidance, the tractor follows the guidance lines. Towed implements will drift offline during curves, creating skips and overlaps. And on the right side, when using AutoTrac implement guidance, the tractor drives offline as needed to keep the implement on the guidance line, reducing skips and overlaps. So what are the benefits of AutoTrac implement guidance for your operation? For AutoTrac implement guidance, it can provide accurate pass-to-pass guest row spacing width. It can reduce input costs. It improves pass-to-pass accuracy for future operation and improves post-emerge operations such as spraying and harvest. Some more benefits of AutoTrac implement guidance: reduces skips and overlaps from between passes during the following situations: straight guidance lines, curved guidance lines, A plus B curves and adaptive curves, and side hill operation. So what equipment is needed for AutoTrac implement guidance? You'll need a 4600 Command Center display or a Generation 4 4640 display. The 4600 Command Center needs a version 2 processor with Command Center Automation 3.0 or 4.0 activation. The 4640 Universal Display with Automation Subscription 3.0 or 4.0 subscription. You'll also need 2 GPS receivers, one for the tractor and one for the implement. And don't forget the implement mount and harnessing for the implement. So which type of receivers do you need? So the Starfire 3000 or 6000 must have SF2 on the 3000, SF3 on the 6000, or RTK for the 3000 or 6000 receiver, and operating in shared signal configuration. Thanks for joining us today. Today we talked about AutoTrac implement guidance and some of the benefits that you can use in the field. When you're in the field and using AutoTrac implement guidance, you can help the sprayer operator and the combine operator with input costs such as underspraying or overspraying, skips, and overlapping. Thanks for watching. I'm Joe Bloffus with C&B Operations, your John Deere dealer of choice.
Hi, I'm Zachary Lawaji, Precision Ag Consultant with C&B Operations, covering our Laverne, Edgerton, and Pipestone locations. And today I'll be talking to you about curve compensation. John Deere planters with MaxiMerge 5E and ExactEmerge row units have the option to enable curve compensation. With curve compensation enabled, there's an increase of population accuracy up to 24%. The way it works is each row unit monitors its ground speed and then adjusts the meter speed, which allows each row unit to change its population while the implement is making the turn. This results in the inside rows planting less while the outside rows plant more, which helps reduce potential yield loss by improving seed placement, decreasing the amount of doubles, and increasing the efficiency of soil nutrients. With John Deere curve compensation, you can ensure that your seed is being placed uniformly while planting, whether it be on a straight or curved pass. Thank you for watching today's video. I'm Precision Ag Consultant Zachary Lowaji with C&B Operations, committed to being your John Deere dealer of choice.
C&B Operations is seeking both new and experienced diesel technicians to meet the needs of its rapidly growing service business. If you have an interest in entering the exciting field of diesel technology, C&B Operations has a plan that's right for you. Enroll in C&B's Road to Success program and get all of your associate's degree related expenses reimbursed while working in a highly rewarding career. Or consider applying for the Diesel Technology Apprenticeship program, which pays you to learn on the job while you are employed full-time. All C&B diesel technicians are eligible for a comprehensive fringe benefit package along with industry-leading pay and incentive programs. For more information, go to www.deerequipment.com.
Hi, it's Chris again with C&B. Let's hop back into the Operations Center. This time we'll be discussing the setup portion of the John Deere Operations Center. Alright, let's get started with the setup. So I go under Setup here. We've got a few different things listed, but the main ones that I'm going to be covering today are Connections, Land, Products, Setup File Creator, Team, and Terminals. So the first and foremost, I'm going to select the Connections. In the John Deere Operations Center, if we as an employee make a connection with a other organization, it'll only last for a year on your Operations Center account. However, if you actually go in and make that connection yourself, it will go until you were to manage and delete out that partnership. You can do that by going into Manage, and then we would be able to go down here and hit Remove Connection if that were the case. But first, we can also add a connection with this. So let's say you're already doing some business with Ag Analytics and you wanted to merge that or connect that to your John Deere Operations Center account. In order to do that, we go into Ag Analytics and I would hit that Connect button. And it will reconnect me to this page. And if you wanted to, you'd hit Allow Access and be able to go through that whole process. So I'm going to hit back just because we're not going to actually go through and link something up. But you would log into your Ag Analytics account and then it would make that connection fully with you to be able to push that data to and from the Op Center depending upon what it is that you are using. So we can see that we are actually already connected with Smart Grade Remote Support. We are connected with Granular Insights, which would be a free platform within the Operations Center that you are able to get free profit mapping for your acres. We've also got a current connection with FBN as well, Farmers Business Network. So we've got all of that established. We can go back into that setup and we can go into Land. The Land tab is where you would go in to manage all of your client farm field names, your guidance lines, as well as any boundaries or anything that you would be going in there. If we wanted to create a new field boundary or anything like that, we hit that yellow plus sign up there. We go into Field. So let's say I picked up a new 80 of land that I'm going to be farming this spring. I select Field. I can select the client farm, and then new field name would be Test 80. Whether or not it has a base station assigned to it for RTK, and then we can hit Save. Now we can see that we've got this Test 80 farm over here on the left hand side. If I wanted to edit this field, I can go into Edit, and maybe I wanted to rename it because I feel like it's something, we can name it something better. So we're going to now name this the Extra Test field. Extra Test 80. Now I can see we've got 0 boundaries, 0 guidance lines or anything like that created on there. I can hit Save there. And now if I scroll up on the left side, it's actually named Extra Test 80. If I were to scroll up here, we can also see Extra Test 80 up at the top. Now let's say I wanted to create a new boundary for that. I can go into that Create New tab. We can hit Boundary. I can draw it new, or I can do it from a previous operation. So if I've already got some data from, let's say, from harvest or from tillage, we would be able to create a boundary automatically based off of that. Or we can go into here and we can say Extra Test 80. Hit Next, and we can name this boundary now. Test E. Now we've got our drawing tools up here. I'm going to do a polygon tool because it's going to be a oddly shaped field. We can select that Draw Polygon tool, scroll in some more. Now I can draw that around the fence line or the tree line. I can go around here, draw that in here, and then once I reconnect it, it's going to tell me my amount of acres. So this is a 58.85 acre field, and we can go in here and we can hit Save. Now if you're actually going to be utilizing this in the field, I suggest that you actually go out and truly create that boundary while using your display and your receiver. But this is just going to be more for a data management standpoint, so that when you bring the data in, it's going to automatically sort that data into this specific field. So now I've got my boundary created. Let's say I wanted to create a guidance line based off of that. So I hit that Create New yellow button here, and we're going to be creating an AB line. So we say it's a straight track. We're going to go with the Extra Test 80. We put in what our implement's track spacing is. So let's say it's a DB60. We can hit Next. Now I can type in or select whatever our A point would be. We can do our B point. And one thing that you may have noticed is that it's got this ring around the outside here. That is actually the distance that our implement is based off of that line. I've currently got the Enable Snap to Boundary option enabled. So if I were not actually up against that boundary, we can see that it's still at white. But if I get close to the boundary, it's automatically going to snap over. I let it go, and it's going to turn purple. That signifies that you have that set up right next to the boundary. So let's say we wanted to call this the east line, east side of field. I can hit Save. Now we've got the east side of field guidance line in that boundary. Let's say I wanted to create another one. I can go back over here, open up that list, hit Create New. Let's say I wanted to create a track for the north side of the field. We're going to go to that test field again. We've got 60-foot track spacing. I can hit Next. Now I'm going to put that across the top of the field. We can see that they're both purple, so that's a good sign. And I need to name this track, so north side of field. Hit Save. And now I've got two different guidance lines in this field. So I want to open up my entire list again on the left side. I can open that up. I can close out of this. Let's say I didn't like that guidance line that I had created in the top. I can go back to this north side of field, select that, hit Archive. And then once we archive it, we can push that over and out of our active set. If we did want to go back and bring that back, I can hit this filter here on the left-hand side, the black filter, and I can select the archived and bring that back. So we would select that, go through, and hit Make Available up here on the top side.
C&B Operations wants to make the 2021 harvest your best one yet. To do so, we encourage you to take advantage of our preseason fall startup packages. These packages provide labor rate savings for those operations who plan ahead on their farm equipment setup and operator training. Because of the part shortage we are facing this year, we also encourage you to book your fall equipment inspections early so we have the best opportunity to meet your repair parts needs. Your local C&B service manager has many discounted inspection offers available on a wide range of equipment, including 10% saving on all C&B installed parts. C&B encourages you to proactively check out these and all other aftermarket specials at www.deerequipment.com.
So now I'm back in my available. Let's say I wanted to get rid of every single one of my straight tracks or all of my curved tracks. I can go into here, select straight track, and then if I wanted to mass archive all of the straight tracks, I can hit this drop down button here, select filtered, and now it will have selected every single one of the guidance tracks, so I could archive those if I'd like to do that. I'm going to just deselect all of that and reset all the filters. And we are good there. Another thing that's really useful for being able to go through guidance lines and be able to manage all of that information is the eyeball icon that's on the right-hand side. So let's say I wanted to go into my South Bluff farm. I can hit this eye or the show icon, and it automatically pulls up that field boundary that I have created. If I wanted to go through and manage all of my guidance lines, I can go through and manually check where that specific guidance line is throughout the entire field. So that way, if we have any doubles, we're able to go in and we can archive that and get rid of it. We can see that this one's at an angle, so we're probably just using that for tillage. More than likely, we'll just be creating a new one later, so we can just go in here and we can archive it either this way or by selecting that and hitting archive. I'm just going to archive it this way. Saves us a click, and now that is gone. So we can also see that this one was also a tillage line, so I can select that and I can archive that again. Let's say maybe you've got a specific line that you like to use for all of your different fields, or maybe you've got one that's showing up in one field, but it's actually meant for another one. We've also got this handy dandy copy icon that if I like that one, let's say I like this webinar guidance line that we've got on the top, I wanted to copy that over to a different field. I can hit copy, select which one that I wanted to copy that with. I say I want to put that in the South Woodruff field, rename it, and then we could hit save and it will copy that over to the South Woodruff. So now I'm going to hit save. I can go over to the South Woodruff and I can see if I hide all, I can see that that same guidance line is now in the South Woodruff field. So now moving back to the South Bluff field, if I wanted to take a look at the coordinates of the A and the B point on here, we can actually go through, we can see on the right hand side when I clicked on that information icon or the details, that it will actually give us the A and B coordinates of latitude and longitude for both of those points. So if you wanted to recreate that, you could recreate it that way. We can see that our heading was 179.9999 degrees. Therefore, it's practically due south on this. I can X out of that. And one last thing I wanted to go over on the land portion is being able to export all of the boundaries, guidance tracks, and everything like that into a Word document or a PDF. If I select all of those fields, I can hit export and export it as a PDF. I always do or list boundary shapes because that will give us the list of what everything is. I'll show you this in a little bit as it exports. So now I've got my information down here and I can scroll down. This is an overall view. Now we can see, okay, let's go down to this one. We can see each shape, what it's called. So the name is 2020. We've got what each guidance line would be named. So let's say I wanted to go down here. I can see guidance line H is named north-south. So now I can select that north-south guidance line when I'm planting in this field. to be able to continue to use those same lines over and over again. Once again, you'd be able to print those out for the entirety of your operation so that maybe you get a new guy in the cab. They don't know what guidance lines to select. They can pull up this handy dandy document and be able to see where that guidance line is and which one he needs to select for each side of the field. But now that we've discussed that, we can go back out of here. We can go into our setup, and I'm going to go into products. Products is where you would go into in order to set up your varieties, your hybrids for your different corn, soybeans, different products. You could also set up different chemicals or tank mixes as well. So if we wanted to add a new product, we can hit add a product. Let's say I wanted to say that it's variety, so I'm going to be bringing in corn. So type in corn up here. Let's say it's going to be an LG hybrid. Let's say it's 44C47. And that will just add it to our grocery cart, that I like to call it, over here on the right-hand side. Now, let's say I had another one that I wanted to add in here, which would be LG 2414 hybrid there. We can hit here, hit next. It's going to confirm what we wanted to call it and what crop type it is. I can hit save. And now it's going to add that to my list over here. So now we've got LG 2414 Roundup ready, and we've got LG 44C47 as well. So now when I create my setup file, I will have those two varieties listed as potential varieties to select when you're in our fields. We can also go in here to this preferences icon. If I were to select that, it will tell me whether or not I will automatically bring in different varieties when we bring in a setup file back from a display. So if I maybe added a variety or a hybrid while we were in the field just to finish up everything and we wanted it to show up on our list here, we can have this set to always import, and it will automatically populate it into this list for you. If not, you can go into never import and maybe you can add it manually at a later time. Or if you're never going to use it again, you can just leave it like that. And then we hit save. And now that will be the case. Up here also we have tank mixes. So if you were going to be creating a tank mix, we can select that. We can hit add a tank mix over here on the right hand side. And then we can tell it what our overall solution rate would be. So let's say 35 gallons per acre. Select what products we're going to be using. So we're going to be doing dual magnum in a carrier of water and fertilizer. And then we can select how many gallons we will be using and how many acres we'll be working. So that will actually give us the overall amount that we will be needing to add into this tank in order to make this allow it to work. So let's say we're going to be doing 110 acres. I forgot to put in our rate of application, so let's see. If we wanted to do this in fluid ounces per acre, we can do, let's say, 10 fluid ounces per acre. Now down here it's going to give us our total amount of fluid ounces, or if we wanted to change it to gallons, we can see that we need to add in 8.594 gallons of dual magnum into our overall tank mix solution. I can hit next. I can name it dual magnum mix. We're going to be putting it on all of our crops, which is probably a terrible idea, but we'll make it work. This is just for an example. And now we've got all of that information as far as what it's all going to be going on to. If we're never going to use this mix again, we can select that, we can hit archive, and it will push that over to the archive at that point. Archive, and now we've just got our different test tank mixes there. All right, and that is pretty much all for the products. Now I'll be going into creating a setup file. So we go to Setup File Creator under the Setup tab, and we can select our display type. For this example, we'll be doing a GS32630 or Gen 4 display. We will put a test name as our setup file. We can hit Start. I'm going to select all of my fields and all of my guidance lines here, but let's say I wanted to deselect just the boundaries. I can actually go into this All Items Selected icon, and we don't want to bring our boundaries into our displays because maybe we drew them in the Operations Center and they're not very good boundaries. We can just deselect that, and now none of the boundaries that are under our fields will actually even show up in this setup file. Now I want to hit Next. We've got our machines and our implements. I'm going to be sending it wirelessly to this machine, the 9470R. I can select my implements, so I want to send the 1770 NT, and maybe I'm going to be hooking on the baler at a later time. I can select that baler as well. I can hit Next. Now I'm going to be selecting my products. So if I just wanted to, for the planter, send just the varieties and the hybrids, I can select all of those. Now I can hit Next. I don't currently have any operators. If I did have several guys that we were wanting to have in here so that they can specifically tell what they're doing, we can add them here. Now I'm going to hit Next, and it is going to be creating that setup file as soon as I hit Create File. Right now we can see it's just a summary of all that information, so if we noticed that for some reason not all the boundaries had gotten deselected, we can go back and we can change that back up here in that land. But we see that there are no boundaries here. We can hit Create File. If I wanted to actually create it and send it automatically, we can hit here on this checkbox and hit Create and Send. But just for this example, I'm just going to say Create without sending. And now it's right here. If I wanted to see it in the Files page, I can go to the More and do that later. Or you can just select this, go to Files. So that's it for Setup File Creator. Now I'm going to go into Team Manager and set that up for you guys. So we've got all of our different partners that we have here. If you are wanting to go into preferences on the Team Manager, we can see all of our organization preferences. If you are currently trying to do AutoPath and bring that file to create all of those AutoPath lines in your Operations Center, you would actually go into Settings to scroll all the way down, and we can see AutoPath is currently turned off. If I hit Edit and turn AutoPath on, it will start generating those AutoPath lines for you if you meet all of the requirements to be able to do that. Another thing on here is Override Equipment Profiles, and basically that will allow you to, when you send a setup file back into your Operations Center that you had serial number specific tractors on, it will actually overwrite what is in the Operations Center in your offsets. So if we wanted to have that on, we can do that. If not, we can just leave that off. But AutoPath is a very important portion here. So now I'm going to hit Save. We want all the AutoPath lines to start being generated right away, so we went into that. If you wanted to add a staff member or a partner, we would be able to go into this yellow icon over here and hit Add Partner or Staff Member. Let's say you have a guy who's going to be working mostly in the shop and you want them to be able to change your maintenance plans. We can put in that person's email address. So let's just put in a dummy email address here, someone@someone.com. I can hit Next, and then you can control what you actually end up allowing them to see. Now we can hit Next, and it would send that partnership request or that staff member request to them. So that's it for the team portion. If we go into terminals, we would be able to see an overview of all of the different MTGs and terminals that you would have for your equipment and whether or not they have JD-Link Connect or Access Plus RDA on them. So we can see that these specific ones do not have any of the the information there, but we can see that this 9470R does have Access Plus RDA and Connect upgrade until September 4th. So we are good to go until September 4th. As soon as September 4th comes around, we will need to renew that subscription in order to continue to get that JD-Link Connect wireless data transfer information available. So that is it for the setup tab. Thank you so much for watching. Again, my name is Chris Seifert with C&B Operations, and we are committed to being your John Deere dealer of choice.
Compared to other John Deere dealerships, here at C&B Operations, we offer a unique solution to answer the quick questions related to John Deere Precision Ag Technologies through our very own C&B Precision Ag Support Center. We understand, for many of you, that you don't sit in front of a green star display every day of the year like we do. Our trained staff is focused on your operations uptime related to precision ag technology, and we have multiple resources at our fingertips to answer your questions, no matter if you are in the cab, at your desk, or on your mobile device. We are ready to serve you. Pay as you go by calling in when you need assistance, or prepay for unlimited phone support during normal operational hours. Disclaimer: side effects may include, but are not limited to, stress-free planting and harvest seasons, constant smiling, fainting by your local FSA and crop insurance agent due to ease of reporting, jealous neighbors or coffee shop buddies due to how well your data looks, people questioning why you are in such a good mood, ability to select the correct guidance line when you are in the field, much improved golf swing, and year-round tan due to not cleaning data all winter. Visit any one of our C&B Operations locations to get signed up, or contact us here at the Support Center at 507-200-3060. For more information, visit us in the store or online at deereequipment.com.